This is a quick video. I had the question about how you could end the game or how you could score the game. So I'm going to quickly show you how you can do that. Now, I'm not going to actually go through it because I've just done it in my Pong version. I'm going to explain what I've done. So you'll see here, one player is my one player scene. So it's the scene where I've imported the player paddle. I've got the ball here and I've got my static body 2D. So the first thing I had to do was take the left wall out of my static body 2D, add another static body 2D, which you can see here I've named left wall, and I've put my collision shape for the left wall into that. And you'll see over here on the right, I've actually got a group. And so this little group here, or this group, is I've named left wall. Now I'm going to show you how to do that as well. And so what I can do in my code is I can detect when the ball collides with objects which are in a group. And so you would use this in the game. You would have your player running around collecting coins. And so all of the coins would be in the same group. And when the player collides with a coin, then it operates in a different way to when it collides with a wall or a floor or something else. And so you can set up groups. And so you can see here I've made a group called left paddle, and so my player paddle is also in a group. And so what I'm going to do in this demonstration is for the ball, I'm coding the ball so that when it collides with the paddle it will play a different sound, and when it collides with the left wall it's going to play a different sound and stop the game. Now you could also add score features so that when it collides with the paddle you could increase the score, but I'm just doing this very basic. So the first thing you need to do is create that static body 2D called left wall, and then drag the collision shape into that left wall object. Once you've done that, you'll see over here on the right hand side near the inspector, you can scroll across the tabs, and if you go across to the fourth tab, that's where you can create your groups. And so in my groups, I've added 2 groups to this scene, so I've just gone plus twice. I've added a left wall group, and then I've clicked on the left wall, and you'll see over here I've just ticked that box. For my player paddle, it's got the paddles ticked. And so when I come across to that groups tab, that's how you put the objects into there. So if I come here to the static body 2D, let's say I wanted to add that to the group, then I would click on that object, and over here on the groups, I just tick the box. Now I don't want my static body 2D to be in that, so I'm going to leave it unticked. But that's the tabs over here near the inspectors. You just use the arrows to navigate through the tabs, go to the groups, add 2 groups, one called left wall and one called paddle. Now in my ball, that's where all my code happens. So we're going to jump across to our ball. We're going to have a look at our script for our ball. And you'll see that what I've done is I've added 3 sounds. So we already had a bounce sound. I've now added a boing sound and a lose sound. Now these are of type audio stream player. So I've added 2 extra audio stream players, and I've added a boing MP3 and a lose MP3 to each of these. The lose MP3, I also had to change one of the properties because it's going to keep playing after the game has finished. So on my lose audio stream player, I've added the WAV file, but I've also gone down to the process and I've changed the mode to always. And what that's going to do is mean that even when I pause the game, the lose sound is still going to play. And so that way, if you didn't do that, then when you tried to play the sound and then you pause the game, or stop the game, or move to the next scene, the sound would stop playing, and so then it wouldn't continue playing through. In my function physics process, I've got my collision. So we already said if there was a collision, but what I've done is I've added another variable called collided object, and what this variable is doing is looking at the collision and finding out what I collided with. So the variable collided object is looking at the collision and finding out what I collided with. So you can see it's getting the collider. And then down here, if the collided object is in the group paddles, so collided object dot is in group paddles, then I'm playing the boing sound. Else if, so I'm doing if this is not true, it's going to look at this if statement. Else if the collided object is in the group left wall, then, and you'll see I put a comment in here just to remind me to set the process mode to always play. Play the lose sound, and I've said get the tree paused true, and that's just going to stop the game. So I haven't done anything fancy. If it hits the wall, the game just ends. And so get the tree paused is true. You could, if you wanted to, move to a new scene and play the lose animation and do all sorts of things. I've just said play the sound and stop the game. Otherwise, so this is the third option. So if it's a paddle, then do this. If it's a left wall, then do these things. Otherwise, play the normal bounce, and you'll see here it does the normal, check what angle the ball's coming in at, get the normal, and then change the velocity based on the bounce of the normal. And so then I've added these extra little statements here in the if section to do different things. And then when we play our game, you'll see now that my ball goes, it will, based on what it collides with, so my ball's playing the normal sound, it does the boing sound when it hits the pedal, and when I lose, plays a lose sound, and then everything is frozen. So I've said pause the tree, which basically stops everything. Hopefully that will help you to be able to do those things.